and the cussing, and see what great example they are for anyone who wants to join and become Torah observant like them. Because I would not join them. I would not join that group. I would not join that church. I would not be a part of the God that teaches that you have to be black or white or pink in order to be in that kingdom, and everyone else is just, good for killing. Because that's what they teach. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick. I've been trying not to say anything because that causes everyone to get up and race riots and start pulling the race card. I don't want to do that. I just want to teach the truth, but I've had it with these people. I've had it with those people. So, who are the tribes of Israel? And why are these curses happening? Because, see, the black Hebrews, they only want to take the good stuff. Get into the kingdom. They're not accepting the curses for not being obedient. They have no clue about those curses. They don't even keep the holy days or the sabbatical year. Well, they might keep the holy days, but they keep them at the wrong time. They're just ignorant. They're just ignorant. Pray for them that they come back and begin to obey the truth and begin to show love. What's Paul saying? Was it 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians? That a person without love is just like a clanging cymbal.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what they are, making a bunch of noise and not showing any love, not converting anyone except maybe the odd guy that's black who's downtrodden. And that's what the Muslims do. They pick up these people in jail and give them a power trip. Anyway. Okay, let's get back here. My blood's boiling. That's been eating away at me for a while, and as much as it annoys me to talk about it, I want to thank you for letting me get it out. And I've read some comments from some people of black skin who know Torah and who are awesome people.
Yeah,
awesome people. This is not a black and white thing, but Satan is going to make this a black and white thing in these last days. Don't get caught up in it. Don't get caught up in it. But it's coming. You see it in all across the United States right now with all the police marches against the police for different shootings. The Ferguson thing, the Baltimore thing. Don't get caught up in it. You are an ambassador to Jehovah. Act like one. Talk like one. Be one. Be above the senseless brutality that's going to be taking place here and is already starting, but it's going to get much, much worse. So, anyway, so when we notice, when you do your history and you look at the 12 tribes of Israel, you're told where they go and you're told what happens to them. Israel went into captivity in 723. Judah goes into captivity in 586. But what most people don't realize is that there's a stone written in Iran called the Behistun rock. Behistun. Behiston rock. And on this rock is the inscription in 4 different languages of the names of the people that he had captured. I believe it's Darius or Cyrus, one of the two. And he lists the names in 4 different languages at the time, and he lists the people that he captured. And one of those people that he's talking about are the Gemeri. Now, who are the Gemeri? The Gemeri are people that lived in Gemeria it's it's phonics, right? Gimmirri or Gamerer, Gemerar. They lived in the land of Gemer. Now, where is that? That's one of the places where the 12 tribes of Israel were taken, the northern 10 tribes. The Assyrians could not say the house of Omri. Omri was a king of Israel. And when Assyria became in contact, Omri was a great king. Jehovah hated what Omri did. Jehovah hated that he changed the Torah for a bunch of laws that he has administered. But they couldn't say Omri. So they would say Bet, which is the house of Omri, and they would say Bet Kumri. And Kumri, Khumri, is the house of Omri, but Bet Kumri. Kumri, after they go into captivity, they were known as Bet Kumri, became, within about 100 years, 150 years or less, I believe it's even actually 20 or 30 years, Kumri became Gameri. The Gameri later became known as the Gimeri, which is Gi. That's what's recorded on the Behistun rock. The Gameri would become later known as the Gimeri, which is now spelled, instead of G-I-M, it's now spelled with a C, and the C is a hard C like in cat, C-I-M-M-E-R-I-A-N, Gimerian. And the Gimerian were also spelled as the, by the Greeks called the Kimri, which is K-Y-M-R-Y. And the Kimeri become known as the Celts. And we know who the Celts are. The Celts are the Anglo-Saxons. That's just one very simple, quick explanation to shut up those people down the streets there in California that are causing this problem. And it's so simple. The history books are full of it. Any encyclopedia will show you. But these people don't read history books. They rewrite history in their own favor. I still got a mat on for them.
Can I make sure I'm understanding you?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So you're saying that, was it either King Darius or King Cyrus?
Cyrus.
One of them, when they took into captivity some of the Israelites, do you know which, did you say which tribe, or was it just several of them?
I don't know any particular tribe, but there was a group of people. They were known as the Gemara.
Okay.
Right? So that now Cyrus did this. So Cyrus comes on the scene about 300 years after the Assyrians had taken them into captivity. Now, the 10 northern tribes never came back home.
Right.
Right? So they're still out there. And they became known as the Parthian people eventually. And it's the Parthian people who kept the Roman Empire at bay. The Romans could never get into the east because of the Parthians. The Parthians are the nations of Israel united together. So these are the names that they went by. Now, one of the other names that this Behistun rock records is called the Saka. Now, the Saka were also known as the Suna. Now, S-A-K-A or S-A-C-A. And these eventually became the Saxons. And they were also known as the Scythians. Now, the Scythians are other people, but they're all mixed in together. But they're also dominated by the Israelites as Scythians or Saxons. Out of this group comes the Goths. The Goths are the Swedes and the Swiss. And the Visigoths. And they become the Norwegians. And this is a tribe of Naphtali. So these people are all mixed in there together, but they form a united front called the Parthian Empire, and they kept the Roman Empire at bay. In fact, when the Parthians sent a group of people to meet the Messiah, you've heard of the three magi?
Yes.
It's not three magi.
Right.
These were people that were sending gifts to one of the future kings of Israel. They kept records of who was eligible to be a king. And lo and behold, Yeshua was one of those people that was eligible. And they sent gifts. And each one of these magi would have had an army of about 10,000 troops to protect the caravans that he was bringing as gifts. they came. And when they came into Jerusalem, King Herod was terrified because he knew about the Parthian and Roman wars, and he thought that the Parthians were coming to take over Jerusalem. That's why he was afraid of them. That's why he cooperated with them. And that's why he tried to kill the king, Yeshua, afterwards. The Romans sent an army down there to confront these people who came across, and they met in the middle of the Jordan River. You know, this is documented history. They met in the middle of the Jordan River, and they had a powwow, and nothing came of it because they realized they were just sending a group, 30,000 troops over to worship this king, and they had now returned. But the Romans wanted to make sure they weren't invading their country or their territory. This is a part of history that we don't really learn about and aren't told about, but it's right there in your encyclopedias.
Yeah.
So, I was
just going to say that's really awesome. I mean, the idea of digging in deeper, because I think, as the question I posed at the beginning, why do we talk about these curses as being in effect here in North America, and I think that's, as we dig and as we find what our real roots are and who we really are. And I remember the first time I watched your 10 Lost Tribes teaching, the video. I remember the first time I watched it, and honestly, it was like way over my head. And it was so much for my brain to comprehend and understand, and I'm sure there might be people listening to this who have that same thought. And so I just wanted to encourage you to go, as we talk about this tonight, take it in, and then you can go to IncitedMoon.com and you can find these teachings, 10 Lost Tribes, and it's just really awesome stuff. It's really, really cool to get into and to discover who we really are. And so it's actually time for a break, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back and we'll get rolling on this 10 Lost Tribe thing. And so hang out with us, and we will be back shortly.
Is it possible to know where the 10 lost tribes went? Does history show them using another name other than Israel? Did you know history records large groups of people leaving Egypt for Greece before Moses and the Exodus? Are you aware that the Israelites were called Bet Kumri by the Assyrians? After the captivity, they were called Gomerians by their captors. Other people called these same people Gomerians, and later on they were known as the Cimmerians. In these people was a group of people known as the Amerindians. Out of the Cimmerians came the Celtic and the Gaulish people, and today we know them as the Celts. Some of the Celtic people are known as the Anglo and Saxons, son of Isaac. The Gaelic people come from the port of Gaul, better known as Portugal today. Before this, they were found in Zaragoza, Spain, and before that, they were from those same Greeks that fled Egypt before Moses and the Exodus. Did you know your own family crest can show you from what tribe of Israel you are from? The red hand on the flag of Ireland tells the story of Tamar and the birth of Zerah sticking out his hand before Pharez. This is the same Zerah that Zaragoza is named after. The unicorn on the crest of England shows Israel as the unicorn in captivity by the chain around its neck and the Lion of Judah with the crown on it. Why has Ireland the harp of King David for its national emblem? Why has Scotland got the same symbol as Judah, a lion, but Scotland's is red? How is the Norwegian lion or the Dutch lion and their crests tied into this? Are you aware of your rich and exciting history and how prophecy is speaking about you in these last days? It is time for you to know who you are, and you can prove it from your own encyclopedias once you know what to look for. Sighted Moon. For articles, videos, and updates, visit IncitedMoon.com. discovered.